All right, in this module 2 tech workshop, I'm going to just quickly go over the platforms we're going to be looking at. In addition to this, in the actual module materials, you'll find some settings, like essentially a sort of default setup I recommend for the different platforms. But you'll kind of come to that yourself over time too. But what I'm going to do for each of a few different items here, I'm going to run through each of the platforms that we have available. There's really two platforms. There's Thinkorswim. That's where we're going to spend most of our time because that has the paper trading account. But if you do eventually decide to use your own money, I would recommend Tastyworks over Thinkorswim, if only because it's cheaper. The commissions are much lower with Tastyworks, but that's besides the point. I'll look at both platforms. So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to build ourselves a watch list. A watch list is just a list of stocks or ETFs and market sectors, that kind of thing, that you want to know the prices of, you want to know information about. So let's start with Thinkorswim. So in your Thinkorswim platform, over on the left, you've got this bar down the left-hand side. You may have a few different items in here. You can modify this with this little cogwheel down at the bottom. You can add and remove things. You can have whatever you want in here, but we want to make sure you have at least a watch list. So look for the item that says watch list. If you don't have one, this little plus down at the bottom here, just hit that and just select watch list. It'll come up. And then once you have that, you can, I don't need two watch lists, although sometimes you will have two watch lists. Here's a watch list. In this section where it may or may not show the name of a watch list, just hit that and go to create watch list right there. Get this guy out of the way. There we go. Give it a name, my watch list, and save it. Okay, perfect. Now, to enter a stock into your watch list, so let's start with the ETF, the market sectors we looked at in Module 1. Just click in this first symbol box and just type in the symbol. So SPY, QQQ, DIA, and IWM. And I'm going to show you in the lesson materials, I'll have what columns you should look at here, okay? I won't go through that all in detail in the tutorial. It just takes too much time. Be kind of boring to watch. I'll just show you the steps. But there's essentially 4 pieces of information we want to know when we set up our watch list. Number 1, what is the price of a particular stock? What is its price change recently, essentially today? Like how much has it gone up or down today? Its implied volatility, which remember is its fear rating, and then its correlation. I talk about that in the foundation items of this module. Correlation is how much it moves like the overall market. So if we look at, I need to make a small change here. If we look at the correlations of these, and I was messing around the other day, so I just need to change my correlator here. There we go. Change that to SPY. There we go, perfect. So the correlation of these items are going to be very close to each other. So SPY has a correlation of 1. I'll talk about this if you look at the market sector of the tutorial for this particular module. I'll talk about what this means, but essentially the closer the number is to 1, the more they move like each other. So SPY and DIA, for example, they have a correlation of 0.99, which means if you are buying, both, say you buy 100 shares of SPY and 100 shares of DIA, they're going to move very much the same way. They're essentially the same trade. So correlation is important. I'll look at that in the market sector tutorial for this particular module. So build your watch list, Thinkorswim. It shows down the left-hand side. The desktop platform of Tastyworks, there is a watch list tab right here. You can just go right to the watch list tab, and then this little cog over here on the left allows you to add a new watch list there. But honestly, on Tastyworks, I would just use the Tastytrade default watch list. It's all built for you. This is the downloadable version of Tastyworks. If you use the web-based version, instead of being called a watch list, it's called the grid. The grid here over on the left. Using this little cogwheel up here, you can create yourself a watch list. But again, I would just use the Tastytrade default watch list for that because there's a really nice pre-built watch list for you. So watch list, pretty straightforward. It's just a list of stocks you're interested in. Okay, next. I don't need that. Why do I keep clicking that? There we go. Okay, next, managing your existing trades. So as you add trades, let's look at where that information shows up. So in Thinkorswim, the Monitor tab shows your current trades. Let me switch to a different account here with some more trades in it. There we go. So this shows you all the different stocks or underlyings that you have positions in. And I'll, again, show you what columns you should have up here. But essentially, this tells you how much money you're making or losing on any particular position. And if I want to make adjustments to positions, if I just hit this little triangle, kind of open the position up. See here in Activision, I have a covered call in Activision. I've got 100 shares of stock with a call sold against it. If for some reason I wanted to close that position out, I can right click, create a closing order. I can buy that back or any of those pieces. We'll look at that in more detail as we move along. That's the Monitor tab in Thinkorswim. In Tastyworks, that's the Positions tab. Positions right here. And it's same kind of thing. It shows me all of the underlyings I have trades in, my gains and losses on those particular trades. If I click one of them, it's going to kind of expand out. I did a sort there by mistake. So here I've got what's called a call spread in Apple, which means I want Apple to go down a little bit. Same deal though. If I select a particular position, I can close it. Those types of things. And then in the desktop version, it is the Portfolio tab, but again, same kind of deal. All the positions that I have on. If I open up, say, my CSX here, it's like I have a call spread in CSX. I also want CSX to go down. But anyway, you get the idea. Same kind of deal. So these are the tabs that show you kind of how your current positions are doing. Monitor tab in Thinkorswim, Positions tab in the desktop version of Tastyworks, and then the web-based version of Tastyworks, it's the Portfolio tab. Okay, making new trades. We looked at this actually a little bit already, so I'll only spend a second here. Thinkorswim Trade tab, we already looked at this. Buy on the ask, sell on the bid, and opening up the different option chains and all of that. Tastyworks Trade tab, same deal. Type in the underlying, you get the same kind of things. These are all the expirations for Apple, for example. And then Tastyworks, the desktop platform, again, Trade tab. Opens up this particular trade page, same kind of deal. So the trade tab lets you do new trades. We'll look at that so many times, you'll drive you insane. Okay, visualizing trades. We'll go into a little bit more detail of this in later modules, but there are a couple of tools available, predominantly in Thinkorswim right now, the Analyze tab. The Analyze tab allows you to get a visual look at what your profit and loss would be on a particular trade. So if you go to Analyze, I'm just going to type in Twitter here at the top, TWTR. I'm going to add a simulated trade. Let's say I go to the 40-day expiration for Twitter and I sell the, let's do the 36 delta put right here. So I just click on the bid for sell, and then I go back to the risk profile. It builds me a diagram of my profit over time. This purple line is as time passes. The blue line is at the expiration of the options contract, how much money I'll make. So you see with a put, it's bullish. As the stock price goes up, I slowly make money. But if the stock doesn't move, this purple line moves up to the blue line and I make my max. And I can see here my break even. So I will make money if Twitter stays where it is, goes up, or goes down to 15.46 on this trade. And this visualization tab is super useful. Let's say I come in here and I add another simulated trade. Let's say in addition to the 30 delta put, I also sell here the 30 delta call, 37 cents. Let's sell that. So I'm selling two options at the same time. Let's go back to my risk profile. And it might do, kind of what you expect. A put makes money when the stock goes up. Call makes money when the stock goes down. So if I sell both, what's going to happen? I'm going to make money when the stock stays within a range, because the two are going to fight against each other, right? So in this particular case, I'll make money when, and I can see this capped line here, that's the most amount I can make. And if you keep your eyes down here at the bottom, you'll see my max is, let's give or take about 75. That's $91 is my max. So if the stock stays between this line right here, which is 16, and this line right here, which is 18, I'll make $91. Now down here at the bottom, let's say I delete that call out. There's that put again. This is just the selling the put. Here I'm maxed at $54. So the basic difference between the two, and you're always going to give up a little on trades, and this covered strangle is in the strangle, which is what we're looking at right now, is in module 3. I can make more money on this, but I can also lose on two sides, right? The put makes money, the stock can go up into infinity and it's going to make money. This trade will make money if the stock stays within this range. As soon as it goes above a certain price, I start to lose money, but if it stays below that price, I make more money than I do with the put. That's simply because I'm selling two options, so I'm getting paid twice. Something else to note here, I'll come back to this again and again. I sold the 30 delta call and the 30 delta put. They both have the same delta, but look at the price, quite a bit different. The call is a lot cheaper than the put. I'll come back to why that is a little bit later in the course. All right. So that's the Analyze tab. Now, Tastyworks doesn't have an Analyze tab before you make a trade. I'm hoping they add it soon, but it does have one that visualizes your profit zones after you make a trade. So if you look at this little graph up here at the top, if I select a particular position, here's my P&L diagram. So you can see CSX. I want this is a bearish trade, right? I want the stock to go down, and you can see there's a maximum amount I can make, maximum amount I can lose. And let's take, like, I think I have it as my eye on Condor on Facebook. That makes money as long as the stock stays within a range. And like, here's a put, makes money if the stock goes up. Bearish trade, I got a lot of bearish trades on right now. Don't be like Mark and put all bearish trades on. There we go, there's a bullish trade. Bullish trade sold a put in Pandora. Here's a good example. This is a bearish trade in Qualcomm. This is what we call a low probability of success trade. Notice that it's bearish. I make money when the stock goes down. I can make up to $200. The stock's gone against me. I was totally wrong on this trade, at least so far. It could come back. But notice the amount I can lose is way less than the amount I can make. This means the math says that this is a fairly low probability trade, and we'll look at what that means as we move through the course. Look at this one, QQQ. I thought the market was going to go down. I was wrong. It's gone way against me. I lose a little bit less than I can make here. Now, you're probably looking at this and thinking, well, you know, you're losing money on some of these trades. You're going to lose money on some trades. We just want everything to balance out. Look at this one. See this one? It's a bullish trade, right? But it goes up to like a little peak here, and then it goes down again. So this one makes money if the stock floats around this area right here. This is what's called a big lizard. We'll come back to that one. So this Analyze tab and the little chart in Tastyworks, they're really good if you're more of a visual person, which I am. Okay, and then lastly, of course, charts. If you've done any sort of digging into, you know, investing in the past, you've probably had charts thrown all over you many times. In Thinkorswim, the Charts tab. So go to charts, you just type in your underline. Let's go with the S&P 500. I like to look at a year. So just come up to this one and go with 1 year day. So this is the last year of the S&P 500. Each one of these little bars represents 1 day. Green is up, red is down, okay? So we can see, generally speaking, the market has gone up, right, over the last 12 months, but always there's an ebb and flow, right? Ebb and flow, ebb and flow. Cyclicality to the markets. That's where options are really going to help us in cyclicality. So that's SPY. Let's take a look at gold, GLD. Gold was flat for a while up, and then it was down. Let's take a look at the bond market, TLT. That was flat for a while up, down, very similar to gold. This just gives you an idea of recent sort of price movements. There's two pieces I'm going to have you add on this, implied volatility and the correlation. And implied volatility is going to show us that fear rating. So we look here at TLT, this fear rating went up high there. Let's go back to SPY. See the spikes here, and notice these spikes kind of coincide with downside movements. This is where we come into play when these spikes come in. And then the correlation, let me go with Apple. The correlation is just how much this particular stock generally moves with the market. So look, there's kind of an ebb and flow to Apple. If it's up here at the top, that means it's moving exactly with the market. Now, these differences kind of coincide with different earnings announcements relating to Apple. Let's look at Twitter. Yeah, same kind of deal with Twitter. Okay, cool. All right, so Charts tab is right here in Thinkorswim. On the Tastyworks desktop platform, it's under Chart. And then in the Tastyworks web platform, it's in the sidebar over on the right here. Here's the chart right here. You can always expand it out if you want to have a little bit more detail. We will not be doing any kind of chart analysis in this course at all. If you've taken any kind of course in the past where they talk to you about moving averages and all of those types of things, we're not going to be doing any of that. Okay, we are making an assumption in this course that nobody knows what direction a stock is going in. So this course is all about strategies. If we make an assumption that nobody knows what direction a stock is going to go, it's more important that we understand the type of strategies to use based on that fact to make us money no matter which way the market goes. That way we don't need to guess market direction. Okay, so take some time, look through those items, start your watch list, look at those monitor tabs and positions tabs to see how your current trades are doing. Make trades, visualize those trades. You can only really do that in Thinkorswim. And then look at some of the charts and keep selling options. Like just go into your paper trading platform and sell a bunch of puts, buy a bunch of covered calls, sell some calls, sell some covered puts. Just start making trades because we want to see how you make and lose money based on price movement of the stock. Enjoy.